Hi everybody, welcome back to the cosplay madness that is my channel. Today I'm going to tell you all about how I made my gloves for my Viktor Nikiforov cosplay. So I am cosplaying the outfit that he wears. The first one you see in the series, and then the one where he's skating with Yuri at the very end of the series, and it's really like beautiful and heartwarming and stuff. Yeah, that one. So these are the gloves I made for the costume. In the first outfit he wears, where he has the gold trim on his outfit, his gloves are actually purple. And I actually made a pair of purple gloves before I decided to kind of switch what costume I was doing. But at the end of the series, when he's skating with Yuri, he actually has black gloves. And so I'm just going to show you how I made them. Honestly, these are so easy to make that they hardly need a tutorial at all, but hopefully you'll be able to use them for future gloves you have to make in your cosplay career, because it's super easy. Alright, let's get started. The fabric I decided to use is a 4-way stretch matte fabric by Yaya Han. It's expensive, but I really liked it. And instead of using pins, I'm actually using these Wonder fabric clips, because the fabric I'm using is kind of like vinyl, and if you poke holes in it with pins, they will stay there forever. And I'm also using chalk just to make outlines on the fabric. So to measure out how much fabric I needed, I just laid my hands on the fabric. The fabric was also folded in half, and the size of the fabric ended up being about 22 inches tall by 28 inches wide. So what I'm doing now is I want to create a hem on the top of my gloves just to make them look really professional and nice. So I'm doing a really simple fold-over hem at the top of the fabric. Then I just sewed down the hem using a straight stitch. Now make sure your fabric is folded in half and lay your arm on top of it to start on the chalk outline. It's like a dead body. Whee! So the only part of your hand that should be on the fabric is your thumb. Your 4 other fingers should be hanging off the fabric. I also had Alex help me trace out the other hand since I'm right-handed and drawing with my left hand is challenging. Once my 2 arms were traced out, I just cut the fabric in half and then, it's hard to not to say pinned it together, I clipped it together. So I used a stretch stitch on my fabric. You could use a zigzag or a straight stitch if you want, and I tested the stretch stitch on a scrap piece of fabric before I proceeded sewing. Sewing these gloves is super simple because you drew the pattern directly onto your fabric. All you're doing is having your needle follow the line that you drew. Make sure that you take extra care around the thumb because it's a little tricky because it has a lot of curves and it's really easy to make it either too small or too big. Then I put my hand into the little tube I had just made to check that it wasn't too big or too small in any places so I can make any adjustments that I needed. For example, I thought the part near my pinky was a little too big, so I just marked it with chalk, put it back on the sewing machine, and sewed it down. After I had everything sewed how I wanted it fit, I just took my scissors and cut along the outside to free it from the fabric. Make sure that you don't cut too close to the seams or else you will have a hole in your glove, which is never fun. And there's your first glove done. And for the next glove, just repeat all of the steps. Sew on your chalk outline, check that it fits, cut it out, turn it right sides out, and you have yourself a fancy pair of Viktor Nikiforov gloves. And then I didn't even bother to hem the top edge because it's going to be tucked under the jacket. So there you go, that's it. That's how you make these gloves. They're super comfortable. I like how they feel like a second skin. This fabric is quite expensive, but I am happy I used it, and it's very nice. It's a good fabric. It's very nice. So if you did want to use this tutorial for more of a full glove look, you would just lay your hand on it and then trace around your other fingers and then just sew around the fingers. And then you have a perfectly fitting glove without having to do all the fourchettes and sew the glove thing, the thumb on the glove nonsense that I hate doing, and I think everybody hates doing it. I've never met anybody that is like, you know what's my favorite part of cosplay? Gloves. If you have any questions at all about my gloves or any other questions about my Viktor cosplay, make sure you ask them in the comments down below. If you're not already, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel. I put out new cosplay content all the time. And if you want to see any of the progress photos I upload, you can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and Snapchat. All of those will be listed in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye!